What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome into episode number 644 of Underground Sports Philadelphia, presented by the city of Vineland. It's KB coming at you solo dolo once again, because it feels like that's just what this show is now. It's my own solo Philly sports podcast. We are going to dive into the Fightin' Phils after a very, very successful series against the Milwaukee Brewers. Rhys Hoskins coming home, and the awesome vibe that was with all of the ovations and just the fun nuances of Rhys Hoskins coming back to Philly as a visitor for the first time. We're going to talk a little WNBA, because that's been hot in the streets. And also, we have a brand new partnership with our lacrosse podcast that I'd love to plug on this show as well, that we are very, very excited about and super pumped for moving forward. But before we get started, make sure you guys are following us on the socials at Underground PHI across the board. That's Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Facebook.com/Underground Sports PHI, Twitch.tv/Underground Sports PHI. You can follow me on Twitter at KBIZZL311 and KBIZZLE11 on Instagram and Threads. Subscribe to the podcast feed, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts in audio form. Guys, I can't stress it enough. It really does mean a lot when you subscribe. This is genuinely like my career goal, is to be podcasting with you guys for the rest of my life. So the more you subscribe, the more you're helping me get out of corporate life and get out of a shitty retail job that I genuinely hate going to. And it allows me to do this for the rest of my life. So keep subscribing on Apple and Spotify. Subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. That helps just as much, if not more. YouTube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. That is where you get full video episodes of this show twice a week. We are very, very close to being back on track with the schedule of this show going out on its typical Mondays and Thursdays. You get this show twice a week. You get every show on our network in full video form, clips, shorts, live streams, original video content. It is all on our YouTube channel. We are at 803 subscribers right now. Let's get to 900 before the end of June. Let's make that happen. We got a lot in store for you guys, including, by the time you're watching this, our F1 watch party has gone on or will be going on. So there's a lot of content across the board that's coming out in the near future that you won't want to miss. So subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Smash that like button. Ring the bell icon. Leave a comment down below. And, of course, be a friend. Tell a friend. Excuse me. Subscribe to the pod. And, of course, guys, this show is presented by the City of Vineland, and the City of Vineland Municipal Calendar features city-organized, city-sponsored, and city-affiliated events that are of public interest. The calendar, which is accessible at vinelandcity.org, is a great way for residents and visitors to build awareness. The ad read says, good. It's a great way for residents and visitors to build awareness, remain engaged with city government, and participate in local events. You can also follow the City of Vineland on social media via their Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube pages. And through these tools, you can stay connected to the community and get important announcements about programs and services offered by the city. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season. And big thank you to our awesome partners, Security 21 Security Systems and Paul J. Gillespie Incorporated, for their continued support of this podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, the Fightin' Phils have shocked the world, I guess you could say, because they have done the impossible. They have beaten a team that has an over 500 record in Major League Baseball. They have swept a team that has over a 500 record in Major League Baseball. The haters are in shambles. The Fightin' Phils are the best goddamn team in baseball, and they sweep Rhys Hoskins and the Milwaukee Brewers out of Citizens Bank Park this week in brilliant fashion, both pitching and run manufacturing. And it is brought to you by our awesome merch partners at PHI Apparel Company, the best merch in the game. If you want to stand out in the crowd, whether you're going to Citizens Bank Park, maybe you're going to London, coming back from London, you're going to have something nice on your porch, or you're going to a baseball game this summer, you want to rep the Phils. You want to rep Underground Sports Philadelphia. Maybe you're going to the Water Dogs homecoming weekend at Villanova on June 15th and 16th. Maybe you want to gear up for Eagle season. Whatever it may be, you want to stand out in the crowd. That's your number one thing with your style, and that is where PHI Apparel Company comes into play. From shirts and hoodies for your favorite Underground Sports Philadelphia podcasts, and of course your favorite Philadelphia sports teams, PHI Apparel Company is going to help you stand out in the crowd and look your best. Go to phiapparel.co, use code UNDERGROUND. You'll get 10% off your merch orders. It is directly the most effective way to support me and everybody here at Underground Sports Philadelphia, because when you purchase merch, we get a nice cut of that because our awesome guys at PHI Apparel Company make that happen. So get your merch. When you get it, post it. We'll repost it. We'll post it everywhere. phiapparel.co, code UNDERGROUND, 10% off your merch orders. The Fightin' Phils take 3 games from the Milwaukee Brewers, 3-1 on Monday, 2-1 on Tuesday, and 2-0 on Wednesday. Rhys Hoskins comes back to town and does the Rhys Hoskins things and makes it poetic and makes it beautiful, and that's why we're romantic about baseball. Rhys Hoskins on Monday gets the most beautiful standing ovation, talks to the media pregame, says he's a crier. He's probably going to tear up and cry. Gets the tip of the cap from everybody on the Phillies team. Gets a beautiful standing ovation. They play slide as he's walking up to bat. And there's very few former Phillies who have gotten that treatment. You know, Chase Utley, they played Cashmere when he came back with the Dodgers. Chooch, they played in the air tonight, and now Rhys Hoskins, they play slide. It just goes to show you how valuable, not only as a player, but as a person, Rhys Hoskins was and still is to this organization, what he means to this organization. He and Jamie, his beautiful, lovely wife, she is one of the best humans alive. Rhys is a special part of Philadelphia Phillies history, will always be a special part in Philadelphia Phillies history. I know I talk about Aaron Nola a lot and being at his debut. Rhys Hoskins has that same vibe, in 2017 when he gets called up, and he was such a bright spot for a team that was just so down on their laurels, so down on their luck, just felt like no end was really in sight. It was like that core slog of the rebuild era where it was like, is this ever going to end? Are we ever going to have young players that are going to help carry this team out of this darkness we've been in and get us to that light at the end of the tunnel and bring us back to the glory days that were 07 to 11? And then Rhys Hoskins bursts onto the scene, and, he was down at AA with Dylan Cousins, and they were the Bash brothers at Reading. And Rhys comes in and becomes the core culture guy. When Bryce Harper signed here, he talked about how Rhys Hoskins was the guy here. Talked about how vital Rhys Hoskins was to this organization, and it showed. Rhys Hoskins caught a lot of unwarranted shit from fans over the years. I wanted to talk about his defense and fielding, how he strikes out a lot, doesn't hit for average, this, that, and the third. Rhys Hoskins provided some of the most memorable moments of this era of Phillies baseball that will live on forever. From his burst onto the scene in 2017 when he goes and hits a gazillion home runs in such a short amount of time, to everything in the postseason. The bat spike, the next day going yard, just so much. When the Phillies clinched the postseason, I think this is what will stand out to me the most in Rhys Hoskins' Phillies career in the first go-around, because I genuinely feel like Rhys Hoskins will play in a Phillies uniform again by the end of his career. When the Phillies clinched the postseason down in Houston in 2022 for the first time since 2011, and you saw the genuine joy and passion and emotion on Rhys Hoskins' face, not even in his voice yet, but just on his face, and how much it meant for the Phillies to get back to the postseason, what it meant to him, what it meant to him being on this team. Him, Nola, Zach Eflin, and Nola started that game. Eflin closed that game. Like, those three guys were in the mud with the Phillies rebuild, and to see what it meant to Rhys Hoskins and just the joy of seeing him celebrate in the clubhouse, not only after clinching the playoffs, but, winning that wild card series against the Cardinals, beating the Braves, beating the Padres, going to the World Series. And then obviously he misses out on 2023 due to the ACL. But you know how much Rhys Hoskins loves Philadelphia, loves the Phillies, and I haven't even touched on, just everything he did philanthropically in the city. He and Jamie made Philadelphia their home. They moved here. Rhys is a California guy. He's from Sacramento. He didn't have to do that. He could have had a house anywhere he wanted, but he moved to Philadelphia, made Philly his home, and I just genuinely cannot thank Rhys Hoskins enough, and I will thank him until I'm blue in the face and until the day I die for bringing so much joy, positivity, and just a genuine human, for being a genuine human in Philadelphia. He is somebody that I will root for no matter what to succeed. He is truly such a light for the sport of baseball, for the face of an athlete, and somebody that anybody can get behind. You saw the genuine joy on that young Rhys Hoskins fan. Her face when Rhys comes over to sign things for her, and just how excited she was. And 3 different days, 3 different ovations for Rhys Hoskins, and it was just beautiful. And it's probably the number one thing that I am going to regret forever, simply because I don't have a car right now, not being able to go down to one of those games and give Rhys the tip of the cap and the ovation that he deserved. But job well done to every single person that went down to Citizens Bank Park this week and gave Rhys the love and admiration he deserved. It gave me chills. The first night, Monday night, I cried watching the video. I'm genuine about this. I cried watching the welcome back video. I cried watching the ovation without the broadcast and just the stadium noise. Like, Rhys Hoskins, like, 07 to 11 for me was middle school into high school. And I levitated every year because it was just like the norm for the Phillies to be good. And then post high school, 2012 to 2021, the Phillies just were not good. And having guys like Aaron Nola, Zach Eflin, Rhys Hoskins, who they were the changing of the guard for those teams that I grew up rooting for and having that childhood admiration for, and guys that I will love for the rest of my life, obviously, for delivering 2008 as a World Series championship. But that whole run in general, having guys to root for as I'm like coming into adulthood, and it sounds corny, it sounds tacky, but like, you guys know me, I'm a diehard Phillies fan and will always be. And having like those guys that you could kind of hitch the wagon to. And for me, it was Nola, it was Eflin, it was Rhys Hoskins, it was Maikel Franco. You had guys that you picked out as your own that helped make a downtime in Phillies franchise history feel brighter. And Rhys Hoskins was a light for this team for so many years. And it was really cool to see the love that he got. And in game 1, he obviously gets the stolen base on JT, gets thrown out at home by Johan Rojas, and JT stares over him, I should say. And they laugh and give each other a good old slap on the ass like athletes do. And then to wax poetically, Rhys Hoskins hits a home run to left field in his return to Citizens Bank Park in a different uniform for the first time. And it's like, how can you not be romantic about baseball? That's the type of stuff that's just beautiful and makes baseball the incredible sport that it is. I mean, Rhys and Jamie Hoskins have a open mic on this podcast whenever they want. I know they're not in Philadelphia anymore, but I would love to have them on. Those two are dream guests to have on this show. And the Phillies did what they had to do. You know, Rhys Hoskins had success. He did his thing, got the love he deserved, and the Phillies take 3 games from the Milwaukee Brewers out of 3 games and hold the team to 2 runs in 3 games. They outscored them 7-2 in the 3 games, and it silences a lot of the doubters and the haters that the Phillies can't beat good teams. They can't beat teams over 500. Wait until they play a good team. The Milwaukee Brewers are our first place team in the NL Central. They have a winning record. They're no slouch. You know, they have wins. Okay, you know, they have won some ball games, if you will. You know, they have 36 wins. That's pretty damn good in my book. If the Brewers were in the Phillies division, they would be ahead of the Braves. Like, let's think about that. You know, they took it to them. They did what they had to do, and it was very impressive the way that they did it. They didn't have to score a bunch of runs to do it, which sometimes the runs just don't come, but sometimes they will. But in this series, it was tough to scrape by and put them together, but they did what they had to do, and they scored enough to win, and they pitched phenomenally in this series to walk away with a 3-game sweep. You know, Zach Wheeler did his thing in Game 1, followed by Hoffman and Alvarado. In Game 2, they take it home on the back of Christopher Sanchez, who we're not talking about nearly enough, who goes 6 innings, only gives up the 1 run. And then Jose Ruiz, Ryan Kerkering, Matt Strahm, and Sir Anthony Dominguez come in and get the job done. Great performance by Sir Anthony Dominguez to close the door on that game and win the series for the Phillies. And then Wednesday's game, Aaron Nola comes out, does the damn thing. And it was really weird watching Aaron Nola pitch against Rhys Hoskins. And then Jeff Hoffman and Jose Alvarado slam the door shut, and the Phillies get a 3-game sweep of a first-place team, of a team with a winning record in the National League, which is hard to come by because if you don't know, there's only 4 teams in the National League that have a winning record right now that are not 500 or below, and that's the Phillies, the Braves, the Brewers, and the Dodgers. The odds for the Phillies to be playing a team that is under 500 are higher than they are to be playing a team 500 or below. And you look at the American League, you know, there's the Yankees, the Orioles are above 500. The Guardians, the Royals, and the Twins are above 500. The Mariners are above 500. There are far more teams in Major League Baseball as a whole that are below 500 right now. That's 4 teams in the American League West. That's 2 teams in the American League Central, and that's 3 teams in the American League East. And then you look at the National League, it's 3 teams in the NL East. That's 4 teams in the NL Central, and that's 4 teams in the NL West that are all below 500 or at 500. You know, could one good series for those teams flip things around? Sure. But it is more likely for the Phillies, the Dodgers, the Braves, the Yankees, the Orioles, the Brewers, the Guardians, the Royals, the Twins, or the Mariners to run into a team that's below 500 at this point than a team that is above 500. So let's wrap our heads around that when we're talking about schedule and this, that, and the third. It doesn't matter who's on the schedule. It matters that most of Major League Baseball is below 500 right now. And we're in June. We're in the first week of June, and that's the case. okay? Maybe owners should be more competitive and try to spend money and get their teams to be better, or guys need to step up, or guys need to sign earlier in spring training, a la Blake Snell and Jordan Montgomery, because they absolutely stink. But the Phillies do the thing, and now it's time for London, isn't it? It's time to get ready for the London series, and that's where the fight in Phils will head next. Is they will head to London to take on the New York Mets for 2 games on Saturday and Sunday. We have to wait a long-ass time for Phillies baseball, but it will be worth it. Hopefully it doesn't feel too long. And then they'll come back and kick off a 6-game road trip in Boston to take on the Red Sox, and then 3 games in Baltimore to take on the Orioles before they come home for an NL West homestand against the San Diego Padres and the Arizona Diamondbacks. I will be in the building on Friday, June 21st. We have standing room tickets for that game. First time I've had standing room tickets since Aaron Nola's debut in 2015. For Cole Hamels' retirement night. And then I'll also be in the building on Sunday, June 23rd for the 11:35 a.m. start time against the Arizona Diamondbacks. So if you're going to be at CBP in a couple weekends, hit your boy up. Hit my line. Let's link up. So I'll be there for 2 games against the Diamondbacks for sure. But yeah, that is the Phillies schedule. It's the Mets in London, Red Sox and Orioles on the road, Padres and Diamondbacks at home. Then they pop out to Detroit to take on the Tigers for 3 before coming back home to play the Marlins for 4 to wrap up the month of June. And then we're into the thick of it. We're into the thick of the season after that Marlins series. It is July. It is on the road to play the Cubs, on the road to play the Braves, home against the Dodgers, home against the A's. And then it's the All-Star break. And then the trade winds start swirling. We start gearing up for hypotheticals and potential trades. And the way that things are right now, the Phillies are certainly going to be buyers. And there's not that many overall big-time buyers in the market. You have the Braves, you have the Dodgers, you have the Brewers, who could be buyers for sure. And then you have in the American League, you have the Orioles, you have the Yankees, you have the Royals, oddly enough, the Guardians, the Twins, the Mariners. I don't know who else is going to be buyers. Maybe the Cubs. Maybe the Reds. But you need some of these teams to stay low so that the Phillies can start making some moves and figure out who the hell they're going to bring in at this trade deadline. The early rumors, they're looking for outfield help. So that could be interesting to see how that all shakes out and all that good stuff. But we still got a little bit of a ways to go before the trade deadline. I don't want to speak too much too soon into existence. But this week also was the anniversary of Rob Thomson taking over the Phillies as an interim manager. It's the 2-year anniversary of Joe Girardi getting fired. We were at that game. Myself and DJ were at that game. And Rob Thomson really has signified, along with a bunch of other things, the franchise turn for the better. Joe Girardi was driving this team into the ground. He was a deadweight manager for this team, and Rob Thomson has been the conductor of vibes and the conductor of just pure friendship and goodwill for this team. And I genuinely think when it's all said and done, especially if Topper wins a World Series, I'm not saying gets to another, wins the World Series, particularly this year, would be great. He's going to tie Charlie Manuel for World Series appearances and World Series wins in a Phillies managerial role. I'm not saying he's going to be better than Charlie Manuel, but I genuinely believe that Topper is going to go down as the 1A / second best Phillies manager of all time behind Charlie Manuel. Charlie Manuel has had an underrated career as Phillies manager. I want to pull up his overall record. as a manager for the Fightins. In his managerial career, Charlie Manuel has, let's see, Charlie Manuel between Cleveland and Philly has 1,000 career wins. In Philadelphia, he got 780 wins, and that was over the course of 2005 to 2013. And he got fired in 2013 with 42 games to go. And on top of that, in the postseason, won 27, lost 19, had a 29 and 22 overall postseason record. 27 wins, though, with the Phillies. 11 in 08, 9 in 09, 5 in 10, 2 in 11. Rob Thomson right now. Pull it up here. Rob Thomson in his managerial career with the Fightins. Won 65 games in 2022, won 90 games in 2023, and has won 44 games as of this recording with the Fightin' Phils this year. You're meaning to tell me that, Topper's going to finish this year with over 200 wins. That's pretty damn good. And I know I was not alive for the Dallas Green era, but Dallas Green, obviously regarded as one of the top managers in Phillies history, however you want to slice and dice it. Dallas Green in a Phillies uniform as manager won the World Series in 1980. They won 91 games, but in his Phillies managerial career went 169 and 130 and 9 and 7 in the postseason, and has an under 500 managerial record. And Rob Thomson already has more wins as Phillies manager in less time than Dallas Green. Dallas Green was the Phillies manager in 1979 for 30 games, 1980, and then 1981. I just think Rob Thomson has curated a chapter of Phillies history that is one of the best, and it's going to be reflected as such, and he's going to go down as the second best manager behind Charlie Manuel, and especially if he wins a World Series, he's going to be held in a very similar vein to Charlie. It's the older, lovable manager who everybody gets along with, all the players love, the city loves him, and Charlie got questioned a ton during his managerial career. People try to question Topper for a lot of his decisions, and at the end of the day, more often than not, Topper's decisions work and make you all look like fools. I genuinely think Rob Thomson is one of the best managers in Phillies history and is going to go down as the second greatest manager in Phillies history. Book it. Book it. If the Phillies sweep in London, that'll be Rob's 200th win in his Phillies career in the regular season. Obviously, he has 19 postseason wins. It's tough to argue, guys. It's tough to argue that he's not going to be an all-timer. He's going to be a Phillies Wall of Famer. It's awesome. It's awesome what we're witnessing right now with the Phils. Hopefully the London series is great. I know a shit ton of people are going over there. I know a bunch of people personally that are going to the London series, so I'm very much looking forward to living vicariously through all of you rich sons of bitches and enjoying baseball in a massive Premier League soccer stadium. And hopefully the Phillies embarrass the New York Mets on international soil and continue to push towards having the best record in baseball when it's all said and done for this season. And we're hoisting a World Series championship trophy at the end of the year. But London series is going to be awesome. It's going to be interesting to see how it potentially affects the guys one way or another, especially with rest and just like sleep schedules and things like that. And coming back from London, you have the early morning U.S. time start on the Sunday game. It's a 10:10 start, local time here. To then flying back, they have the off day Monday, so I'm assuming they're leaving London like right after the game, which is like a 5:10 start over there, because I think it's a 5-hour jump, so 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3. No, it's like a 3 o'clock, 3:10 start. So they'll probably be leaving London, I'd say around like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night at the latest in London, and then getting back here, they're off Monday. And then Tuesday, you go against the Red Sox. I wouldn't be shocked if that first Red Sox game is a bit of a stinker from the Phils. Just getting acclimated back to your everyday routine. It kind of sucks that they're on the road and not playing at home, but we'll see how it plays out. I'm excited. I think it's going to be good vibes. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. You know, a lot of stuff has been coming out about what bats the guys are going to use, stuff like that. So I'm excited to see how the London series plays out. And this is the third time they're doing it. The Red Sox and Yankees were the first one. Cardinals, Cubs was the second one. So I'm excited to have the Phillies showcase that we're the best goddamn team in baseball. And we're going to keep doing the damn thing and being the best. We're showcasing the best over in London. So that's pretty cool. Shout out to UK Phillies, my guy Dave. I'm going to hit him up after the London series to try to get him on and get his thoughts on how everything goes over in London, have him on. I met him at the beginning of April. He was here, and I was at Xfinity Live after covering I went to the Phillies game. And he was there. It was great to meet him, and, you know, we chatted, and I said, you know, love to have you on the show. And London series snuck up on us, but I think it'll be cool for afterwards to get his overall takeaways from everything and see how things play out. So be on the lookout for that in the coming weeks or so, next couple of weeks, to get UK Phillies Dave, my guy, on the show. He is the best. But let's shift gears a little bit to the WNBA, and it is brought to you by... Pause real quick. I'm not going to talk about WNBA yet. I'm going to do a quick housekeeping thing. So, we announced it on Wednesday that the Outside the Box podcast has come to an agreement on a first-of-its-kind strategic partnership with a very awesome organization who has supported us for a very, very long time. Don't worry, the podcast isn't leaving. It's staying on the network. I'm not doing any of that. But it's a partnership, sponsorship. I try to call it a partnership more so with this one in particular, because there's going to be a lot of collaboration. There's going to be a lot of semantics that go into this partnership, and we're very excited about it. The Outside the Box podcast, Underground Sports Philadelphia, and Shootout for Soldiers have come to an agreement on a first-of-its-kind strategic partnership. We're going to be part of this next chapter for them to help tell stories, create content, and a whole bunch of collaboration. Shootout for Soldiers, they are truly the best. Eric Minio, Alexis Brandolini. Check them out. Click the link in the description. If you're in any of their areas where any of their premier events are going on, sign up for one, register for one, volunteer for one. Check out their deployment kits, which is being able to bring Shootout for Soldiers to your hometown if they don't have a premier event in your city. And check out everything that is on their website. Do a little reading on what Shootout for Soldiers is. It started as a high school project in 2012. They've been a huge part of the lacrosse community for over a decade. Alexis has big-time ties to Philadelphia. She's a Philly sports fan. And Eric Minio is truly the best. And I cannot tell you guys how excited we are to be working with them. It's going to be awesome stuff. And Philly weekend, they have a premiere event in Ohio during PLL Philly. But we have so much in store with them over the next few months and hopefully moving forward as well. But definitely check out everything from Shootout for Soldiers, and very stoked to have them on board with us. And they have supported Outside the Box and Underground Sports Philadelphia from Jump Street since we met them, and it's one of those cool things when you get to work with your homies. It is truly a beautiful thing. So shout out to Eric and Alexis and the whole Shootout for Soldiers crew for getting on board with OTB and USP. Now let's talk about the WNBA, because it's been hot in the streets, and Caitlin Clark getting roughhoused and quote-unquote bullied on the court. And was it a cheap shot that Kennedy Carter committed on her? Sure. Was it crazy and diabolical like the entire world is trying to bring this discourse upon it to be? No. It's one of those things that Caitlin Clark's a really fucking awesome basketball player. There's a lot of really fucking awesome basketball players in the WNBA as a whole. And the fact that we're talking about the WNBA in the daily news cycle and in the sports world as often as we are now goes to show you that WNBA is on the incline and on the up and up and in the peripherals of a lot more people than it has been in the past. The thing is it's sports, guys. And when there's a new prodigy that comes into a professional sport, no matter what sport it is, the people that are in that league that feel like they have been paving the way and making the league what it is are going to feel some type of way. They're going to be jealous. There's a lot of jealousy. You see the ad and brand deals that Caitlin Clark is getting, the sponsorship she's getting with these different companies, and it being likened to Michael Jordan and things like that. And good for Caitlin Clark. She fucking deserves it. She's a rock star. But there's going to be people that take that and are jealous of it, and they are going to approach Caitlin Clark with a little bit more tenacity and a little bit more spunk and a little bit more grit. And that's what makes sports fun. Before Bryce Harper came to Philadelphia, we all couldn't stand Bryce. And it wasn't because we didn't like Bryce Harper the human. It was because Bryce Harper was a really fucking good baseball player and played for a rival of the Philadelphia Phillies. Same thing to a lesser degree, JT Realmuto was playing for the Miami Marlins, and when he came here, we fell in love with him. You look at some of these players that are across sports, and we as fans have jealousy of them. You look at Titans fans right now, they are in shambles still about A.J. Brown. And it's not because they hate A.J. Brown. It's because they're pissed at their ownership group and their GM at the time got swindled by Howie Roseman, and they traded their best player for pennies on the dollar. And A.J. Brown's a dog and is succeeding. It's the same kind of concept. You look at when LeBron came into the league. You look at when Steph Curry came into the NBA. You look at when some of these superstar players came into the NFL. It happens all the time with the NHL. You look at the Sidney Crosbys, the Ovechkins. You look at this year, Connor Bedard. There's guys that come into these sports that get anointed before they do anything at the professional level. And it's like, go and prove it. Go and show that, you're deserving all of these accolades and everything. I see it all the time in lacrosse. There's grit and tenacity in sports. And I think it's also being perceived in such a different way because it is women's sports, and we're not used to talking about women's sports on the daily in this type of, environment, in this tone where they're competing and have the same exact type of energy and game and, grittiness. It's a word I keep using, but as men's sports, it's the same shit, guys. And it's like, there's going to be jealousy involved. There's going to be, a chip on a lot of these players' shoulders in the WNBA, and that's okay, because guess what? That makes the play in the league that much better. That means you're going to tune in to watch every Chicago Sky and Indiana Fever game until the end of time, until those players are no longer on those teams. And then you're going to follow along and see where they go. And if you're a Caitlin Clark fan, you're going to be rooting for her to keep balling out. And if you're a Chicago Sky fan, a Kennedy Carter fan, an Angel Reese fan, you're going to be rooting for them. And somebody at the end of the day is going to get the last laugh. And that's what makes sports. It doesn't always have to be, laid out on a lab table and dissected into this overall, like, cultural discourse of what's going on. It doesn't need to be made about, something it's not. It's sports. And that's what's the beauty about it. And I really enjoy what is happening right now in the WNBA and how it's becoming more mainstream and a lot more people tuning in and seeing, the ticket sales and people purchasing merchandise. And it's just in our public sports lingo now is to talk about the WNBA. And I think that's fucking awesome. And if there's anybody out there that covers the WNBA, I would love to have you on this show for sure. I need to reach out to my girl Robin Brown and get Natasha Cloud on this show, faux show. But it's the WNBA. They are gritty as all hell. They play with a chip on their shoulder no matter what, and it makes the sport awesome. And I'm here for it, And Caitlin Clark continues to ball out. She continues to put up numbies. She's going to dominate just the way she has. The rest of the league is going to dominate the way that they have. And it's going to be A-okay. I love it. I've been tuning in and watching a lot more WNBA than I have in the past. And it's very entertaining, guys. It's a very fun league. And if you're not watching it, I don't know what you're doing. I would love to get to a WNBA game. It sucks that there's not a team in Philly. But it is awesome, and I am full-fledged a supporter of the WNBA. I need to get one of them orange hoodies for sure because those things are fire. And I got to get a Natasha Cloud jersey. Faux show, because I got to rep Philly one way or another in the WNBA. But yeah, let's stop making the discourse in the WNBA something it's not. That's all. That's all. Just enjoy women's hoops. It's pure. It's fun. And I genuinely am enjoying watching the WNBA way more than I have enjoyed watching the NBA in recent years. So, sorry about it. Make sure you guys are following us on the socials at Underground PHI, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Facebook.com/UndergroundSportsPHI, Twitch.tv/UndergroundSportsPHI. Man, my back is killing these chairs, man. We got to upgrade the chairs in the studio. There's a chair company out there that wants to hook the boy up. Let me know, because, man, these chairs have kind of run their course, and I feel like it's giving me back problems, to be honest. Facebook.com/UndergroundSportsPHI, Twitch.tv/UndergroundSportsPHI. Follow me at KBIZZL311 on Twitter and KBIZZLE11 on Instagram and Threads. KB Underground on TikTok, and I believe it is Underground KB is my YouTube channel, my personal YouTube channel. Let's see here. Underground KB is the YouTube channel, and I think KB Underground is my TikTok. It's all linked in the description. Check it all out. Subscribe. Subscribe to the podcast feed in particular. Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts in audio form. Leave a 5-star rating and review. Helps this show continue to grow. Helps us get new listeners, new audience, and build this underground Sports Philadelphia army up to the clouds. Let's make it happen. Keep subscribing. Be a friend, tell a friend, and of course subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. That is where you get full video episodes of this show twice a week, and now we will be back on track for sure with episodes coming out every Monday and Thursday. I promise. Yeah, clips, shorts, live streams, original video content. It's all on our YouTube channel. We're at 803 subscribers. Let's get to 900 before the end of June. Smash the like button, ring the bell icon, leave a comment down below your thoughts on the Phils, WNBA, your excitement about our partnership with Shootout for Soldiers. If you're coming to Philly weekend for the PLL, let me know. And get your merch, phiapparel.co, code underground, 10% off your merch order. And this show is presented by the City of Vineland. And whether you're a company looking to expand, relocate, or you're a new business startup, selecting the right location is critical to your success. Vineland, New Jersey offers both an affordable business location and an excellent quality of life. The city's economic development department is a one-stop source for moving your project through the development and approval process, and their goal is to make this process as smooth as possible and to provide the fastest turnaround times in the region. If you're considering potential locations for your operation, contact the Vineland Economic Development Team at 856-794-4100. That's 856-794-4100. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season. And big thank you to Security 21 Security Systems and Paul J. Gillespie Incorporated for their continued support of this podcast. This has been episode number 644 of Underground Sports Philadelphia. I'm your boy KB. We'll be back Sunday night, chatting it up. New episode out on Monday. Hopefully the Phils sweep the London series. We'll gear up for another road trip. And we'll gear up for Philly weekend with the Water Dogs because we got a big old weekend going down at Villanova June 15th and 16th that you will want to be a part of. Get your tickets. Come see the Dogs. It's going to be a great weekend. We'll be there 85% of the way. Have a live show going for OTB that you won't want to miss. So come out to Villanova June 15th and 16th. Get your tickets. I'll probably link them in the description so you'll be there. And keep your eyes peeled because we're giving away our Water Dog season tickets as well for those games. Let you know how to get them. This has been episode 644 of Underground Sports Philadelphia. I'm your boy KB. Enjoy the London series, innit? Pip, pip, cheerio. I'm getting the heck up out of here, and I'm signing off. Peace, bruv.